guys, Dr. Christy Ennis. Today we're going to go over 3 exercises for your core to help you be a little less teenager texting on the phone and a little bit more Wonder Woman or whatever superhero is your favorite superhero. In other words, we're trying to break up this forward position and open that body up by strengthening all of those muscles back there that don't get worked on nearly as much because we sit, we stand, and we don't move as much as we used to. So you will need a band if you've got one. I'm going to show you a modification just in case you don't, and a set of dumbbells would also be helpful. So for the very first exercise, I'm going to get down on the ground, and I've got my band here. You don't have to have handles on yours, even though it's so nice. I have it obviously attached around this handy dandy bar. You can attach it into a door frame, tie a knot in that band, and then get down on the ground. Shut the door. Please shut the door. Don't leave the door open. Or you can have somebody hold it, or like I said, I'll show you an alternative if you don't have any of those things. But we're going to start, I'm going to scooch up just a little bit. We're going to work on getting those lats engaged, those abs, and those glutes, which again really help open us up. So if you think, gently pull in that belly button towards the spine a little bit, squeeze those shoulder blades down towards the mat or bed, wherever you happen to be. Squeeze those glutes. Don't hold your breath. And then you're going to lift up as you pull that band down without those knees coming in. And you're lifting as high as you can without arching into the spine, so you can get a little bit more of a pelvic tuck kind of towards the end there. But now adding these lats in actually gets what we call cross stability. So we've really got stability from above and from below to help support that back a little bit. If you want to make it even more challenging, after you've pulled that band down, trying to keep those hips nice and steady, woo, add a little bit of a march in. I know this one doesn't look that hard, but trust me, it's really not that easy. All right, so it's a pull down and lift. Now, if you happen not to have any way to tie this band, you've got a couple, don't do that, goodness gracious, no concussions. You have a couple other options here. One, you can take that band and again, squeeze into those shoulder blades. With that band overhead, pull those elbows down towards the ground, really squeezing towards the ground as you lift that butt up. Not quite the same, but at least it's getting some of that contraction in there as well. You can actually even do that without the band. If you just dig those elbows in, you'll engage those lats some as well. And then the last option for that exercise, no falling over here, grabbing weights. And then as I lift up, arms come overhead. Again, not quite the same motion, but we are getting a little tricep, a little bit of lat here. And you're only going over as far as you can without arching into that rib cage, okay? So same idea, nice and controlled, and then coming back down. So shoot for about 10 to 15 reps with that exercise there. For exercise number 2, you're going to want something nice and sturdy to hang on to. You can even use a good old buddy if they got a shoulder for you to hang on to, a sturdy one though. And you'll also want a dumbbell for the opposite side. So I'm going to stand or start standing on this right leg, which is why you want something sturdy to hang on to. And I'm going to have a little bend in this right leg, shifting forward from that right hip. So I'm hinging from that hip. I'm pushing that hip back, squeezing into that shoulder blade. Add that row, come all the way back up, and now we're adding a chop. So we're getting a little bit of rotational strength, all of that posterior chain, right? So down, row, up, chop. So again, going into that single leg deadlift, that right leg, that right hip, I'm going to squeeze into that shoulder blade, add that row to get that cross stability again. Come all the way back up, and then I'm adding that little chop, really concentrating on using those obliques. I'll get one more for you. Shifting so the weight's back towards that heel, row back as opposed to rowing right up here, and rotate, and same idea, 10 to 15 reps. For the last exercise, go ahead and grab 2 dumbbells. You can always do one or none too if you would prefer. But we're going to go and step this left leg back a little bit. So now what we're actually doing with this one is stretching this front leg and then activating those buns on the other side, because again, we need to strengthen those glutes and stretch out those hip flexors. And when you stretch the hip flexors, the glutes actually activate better. When you activate the glutes, the hip flexors stretch out better. So it's a nice collaboration between the two. So here we go. I'm going to start by squeezing into those glutes, doing a little pelvic tilt forward to get that stretch. And then from there, I'm going to shift my hips. So this back leg straightens out. I'm going to shift using that right leg, or that right hip, I should say, all the way back. So again, it's kind of that up, bring that pelvis forward, pelvis like Elvis. I'm going to show you from the other way so you can see this hip. So right now I'm in that stretch position. Now to get that strength on that right side, this front knee stays bent. I keep a nice flat back, and then I'm really shifting this right hip back to get those glutes. So glutes on the right, hip flexors on the, if you're in balance, hip flexors on the left also. And just make sure that you change sides, right? Do both sides, and that's for all of those exercises, especially that second and that third one. So thanks so much for tuning in. Now you've got an awesome routine that you can do every other day to really help strengthen things up and open you up. Thank you so much for watching today. If you would like to support me as well as reduce some pain and get rid of the appearance of that cellulite, click the link below to order your own Derma Edge, a device that I created and patented when I was going through the middle of Lyme disease in a lot of pain and needed a way to work on my own body. So the shape of the Derma Edge allows you to get all body parts in a gentle way. We're getting that fluid moving in between the layers, which helps you move better, helps get rid of that pain, and decreases that bumpiness of the cellulite. So make sure to click the link below to order your own.